order.
Boom!
The pledge will be led by Raheem Thomas, Christopher Baldwin, Emilio Castillo, and Christian Pasillas.
What do you want to stay right here?
Yep, right here. Get the microphone.
Stand up.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go down this way here.
Mr. Kohler, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt. Becker J. Becker K. Brown. Buck. Buckner. Carver. Conti. Corum. Court. Danielson. Del Grosso. Dorr. Duran. Esgar. Everett. Fields. Foote. Garnett. Janal. Hamner. Humphrey. Joshi. Kagan. Klingenschmidt. Kraft-Tharp. Landgraf. Lawrence. Representative Lawrence. Lawrence excused. Lebsock. Lee. Leonard. Lontine. Lundeen. McCann. Melton. Representative Lawrence is present. Mitch Bush. Moreno. Navarro. Neville. Nordberg. Pabon. Pedersen. Primavera. Priola. Rankin. Ransom. Rosenthal. Rupe. Ryden. Sane. Representative Sane. Sane excused. Salazar. Sias is excused. Singer. Oh, Representative Sane is present. Singer. Thurlow. Tyler. Van Winkle. Vigil. Who are you? Yeah. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Windholes. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker, excused.
With 63 present, 2 excused, a quorum is present. Representative Wist, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move that the reading of the Journal of February 26th, 2016 be dispensed with and that it be approved and as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The motion passes. Announcements and introductions. Representative Quorum. Members, can we please get attention for Representative Quorum?
Members, I come before you this morning with a heavy heart. We have lost one of our former colleagues. Minority Leader Diane Hoppe passed away Saturday morning. Diane had a long, hard battle with cancer, and she never gave up. She was a friend of this body. She was a friend of the people on the other side of the glass, and she was a true leader in Colorado agriculture. And with the Speaker Pro Tem's permission, I would like to have a moment of silence and represent Happy.
Permission is granted, Representative Quorum. We'll take a moment of silence.
Thank you very much, members. She will truly be missed.
Representative McCann.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I just want to introduce my son who's here today, Chris Linsmeyer. Many of you remember him from working down here at the Capitol. So welcome to Chris.
Welcome, Mr. Linsmeyer. Representative Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And if I may I have a moment of personal privilege?
Members, Representative Rosenthal has asked for a moment of personal privilege. Let's give him that respect.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. So members, you know, we all come down to the Capitol and I think we sacrifice a lot. We give of ourselves and we demand a lot of our families. But then there's also a lot of the folks who help us out here at the Capitol. They're the staffs. And my staff is very near and dear to me. And so last year, one of my staff members passed away. His name was Mike Cooper. And Mike was a very good man. He had a very long and distinguished career. He was a University of Illinois graduate. And he got involved in student politics, and that's where he really kind of sharpened his skills as a person who's really interested in public life. He joined the IRS and worked there as a staff attorney, becoming a senior staff attorney, and had a long and distinguished career there. When he retired, he was looking around for something to do, and he lived in my district, and he just contacted my office and said, how can I help? I want to contribute. And so I took him on in my office, and he really became an indispensable part. He drafted my speeches, so if you've noticed of late, my speeches aren't as good as last year. He did a lot of my research. He sat in on meetings. He briefed me. We had great discussions and debates on bills. So he's dearly missed. And I know perhaps some of your other members have lost other staff in the past, but and I hope we also remember them as well, and along with other members like Representative Hoppe. But our staffs we need to remember too, if they part from us. So, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I'd like to recognize his partner, Sarah Beth, and his family as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you, Representative Rosenthal, and our thoughts and prayers are with your colleague and his family. Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, and I know we have some sad announcements here this morning, but we also have celebrations in the House. And I'd like to welcome the Capitol Choir down to the well to recognize that yesterday, you can make eye contact here. Yesterday was Representative Brown's birthday. Did you know that? So he's 33 years old. We were born in the same year. So so Capitol Choir and colleagues, if you could please join us in a resounding singing of Happy Birthday for Representative Brown. Are we ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Representative Brown. Happy birthday to you.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I'd like to acknowledge and recognize
their way over to the Senate, but it's the Faith Homeschool Group from Centennial, and I just want to welcome the families. There's both some parents and kids here, so thanks very much for being here.
Further announcements and introductions. There is one announcement for today, February 29th, Monday only. Representative Court will replace Representative Fields on the Education Committee. Representative Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Members, the winter meeting of the Colorado Rural Electric Association is on this week. They are having a little reception down at the Marriott City Center on California Street this evening, starting at 6. So all you people who live out in the rural areas and depend on REA to have the lights on, go by and say hi.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. And just like to invite everybody to the Bible study tomorrow morning, 7:15 down in 109. And we'll have a nice sandwich there and have good fellowship and learn a little bit about Timothy. So everybody's welcome.
Further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, the next order of business is general order, second reading of bills. Representative Arndt. You have heard the motion. If there are no objections, Representative Arndt will take the chair.
Committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a... That was a terrible gavel. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested as they are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the Majority Leader and the coat rule is relaxed. Madam Majority Leader.
June 1st, upon the request of the sponsor.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, House Bill 16-1150 will be laid over until June 1st as requested by the Majority Leader with the request of the bill sponsor. Madam Majority Leader.
Nice job, Gunn. Representative Arndt, I move to lay over House Bill 1005 until the end of the second reading calendar today.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, House Bill 16-1005 will be laid over till the end of second reading today, as requested by the Majority Leader. Okay. Oh, we don't need a motion for that? Okay. Okay, Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 16-1236.
House Bill 1236 by Representative Primavera, also Senator Crowder, concerning continuation of the Infection Control Advisory Committee.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1236 and the Health Insurance and Environment Committee report.
To the committee report. Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Amendment L005 to the committee report and ask that it be displayed on the screen.
Okay.
So basically what L0...
just a minute. Amendment L005 has been moved and is displayed. To the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment was at the request of our birthday boy, Representative J. Paul Brown. And what this does is it clarifies that the advisory committee will recommend clinical procedures and other healthcare associated infections for monitoring and reporting. So I ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on L005? Seeing none. The question before us is the adoption of L005. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The amendment passes. To the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee report basically changes hospital-acquired infections to healthcare-associated infections. It changes the word physician to healthcare provider. And it changes the number of facilities that they will do surveillance on. It gives more latitude to the advisory committee and the department to specify facilities and facility types in need of this kind of surveillance and prevention intervention. And it also clarifies that some infections are not always a result of surgeries or central line infections. And it clarifies the language for eligibility for certification in infection control. It adds other types of facilities that would be exempt from national certification requirements. It enables a representation on the advisory committee of healthcare facilities besides hospitals and ambulatory surgery centers. It deletes old language. It changes the word public and private hospital to urban and rural, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on the committee report of Health Insurance and Environment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Committee report is adopted. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill basically continues the Infection Control Advisory Committee, which was established in 2006. And the bill imposed requirements on health facilities to collect infection rate data for specific hospital-acquired infections. They have done a very good job, and they have met at basically no cost to the taxpayers. So this bill would continue them, and healthcare-associated infections pose considerable risks to the public health. Awareness and understanding of such infections is continually evolving. This committee ensures that Colorado has a team of experts in place to address emerging issues as they arise. The committee is instrumental in helping the department identify infections that should be monitored and collaborates with regulated facilities to cultivate and implement best practices for infection control. The committee fulfills its statutory mission at a minimal expense. For these reasons, I ask for an aye vote on the continuation of this committee.
Thank you, Representative Primavera. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And while I actually sat in the Health Insurance Committee and we listened to this bill, and there are a lot of good things that were brought into it, and I do appreciate that the committee is very low in cost, that it's not a real expensive one, but there were 3 of us. It came out on a 10-3 vote, so I just thought I'd get up and let you all know that some of us heard that hospitals are actually they have huge incentives on their own to monitor infections, to keep track of them, to watch them, and we just felt that the government didn't necessarily need to have yet another committee following around hospitals and monitoring these infections. We just thought that the hospitals themselves really, really, really want to keep these infections to a minimum and closed. But other than that, I just thought I'd pass that along about what our rationale was. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Representative Ransom. Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Ransom. And I just wanted to let the members know that the Colorado Hospital Association did come out in favor of this bill.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1236? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The bill. The bill passes. Sorry. Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wait, just a minute, please. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1168.
House Bill 1168 by Representatives Janal and Danielson, also Senator Scott, concerning the continuation of the Rural Alcohol and Substance Abuse Prevention and Treatment Program.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1168. There are no committee reports.
I did. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a sunset bill on the continuation of rural alcohol and substance abuse prevention and treatment programs. The Rural Alcohol and Abuse Prevention Program meets a key need in rural Colorado, and the program provides critical treatment services to people addicted to alcohol or drugs and the vital prevention and treatment services for rural youth. This bill extends rural alcohol and substance abuse prevention and treatment programs through September 1, 2025. I urge for a yes vote.
Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a pleasure to serve with you. I would just like to also urge an aye vote on this bill. This is about providing some much-needed support for communities around the state, rural Coloradans, who, if we can do some youth prevention education and also help with some detox services, will really help these communities, and I would certainly appreciate your support today.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1168? Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this is a good program. It's completely funded by fines that people who get DUIs pay, and then they turn around and they give that money to rural Colorado to help with drug and alcohol abuse amongst youth. So there's no fiscal note. It's just a win-win situation, and I think it would be really sad if this went away. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion on 1168? Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just a few questions. You know, when we have, I know this was passed, I think, I can't remember what year it was passed, I think 2009. But do you have any data showing, you know, how things have improved in the rural areas regarding these funds and this money?
Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Brown. We did have the department come in and describe some of the advances that have been made, the programmatic work being done in our schools, the availability of the detoxification centers to the rural community, transportation in between, that kind of thing. The question was asked of the department leadership, and it's kind of a hard thing to gauge. We're providing these services. They evaluated the program and its efficacy and the impact on people in these rural areas and decided that it was absolutely a program that should be maintained and continued, precisely because it was providing assistance to the people in those communities. They did acknowledge the difficulty in measuring some of the positive outcomes when you're dealing with prevention work.
Is there further discussion? Representative Brown.
Thank you. That would have been interesting to be in the committee. I noticed that, you know, this is split between two departments, and you've got the rural detoxification project, and then the youth substance abuse. There are 6 counties, 3 of which are in my district, that are getting the youth substance abuse. But what my question is on the rural detoxification projects. And I noticed that the Arapahoe House, and I'm wondering how rural these areas and these places are. The Arapahoe House, the Axis Health Systems, Colorado West Regional Medical Health Center, Crossroads Turning Points, Denver Health, El Paso County Sheriff's Office, North Range Behavioral Health, and Region 6 Alcohol and Drug Abuse. Just wondering how those fit in with the rural detoxification.
Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Representative Brown. Good question. In regards to those communities who are, I don't know whether you remember there was an article just recently in the Denver Post that stated that drug overdose deaths are reaching record levels in our rural communities. And heroin is on the increase, prescription drug, painkillers, cocaine, and sadly these deaths are in youth and in young adults. In regards to your question about the substance abuse centers, those people within those rural communities are brought into the substance abuse centers that are mentioned in this bill. So I hope that answers your question. It does help rural Colorado.
Representative Mr. Bush.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can speak for one rural Northwest Colorado county, Routt County, which is covered under both of these programs. These programs are much needed. There is no other source of funds for them. And how appropriate that fines from drunk driving, fines from other sources go to fund these programs. With regard to Representative Brown's question, the Colorado West Regional Medical Health Center treats, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a cold, treats patients from a wide variety of West Slope rural counties.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 161168. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? House Bill 1168 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1100 until Thursday, March 3rd.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, House Bill 1100 will be laid over till Thursday, March 3rd, as requested by the Majority Leader. Oh, Mr. Kohler, please read the title of Senate Bill 1066.
Senate Bill 66 by Senator Stebbins, also Representative Hamner, concerning creation of the Contingency Reserve Fund for school districts.
Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 66.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair and colleagues. Senate Bill 66 reinstates the contingency reserve fund for school districts that was inadvertently struck by the hand of a drafter in a drafting error, and we really need to have this fund back. So I ask for your support. It is a joint budget committee bill.
Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 66? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 66. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Senate Bill 66 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 161149.
House Bill 1149 by Representative Melton, concerning a requirement that the Executive Board of a Common Interest Community created in Colorado before July 1st, 1992 comply with the budget reporting provision of the Colorado Common Interest Ownership Act.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1149. There are no committee reports.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under current law with HOAs, with the Kiowa Act, HOAs that came before 1992 are exempt from reporting their budgets to their members. However, newer communities do have to report their budgets. What House Bill 1149 does is it removes that exemption, so that way all HOAs are governed and practice, or under the same model and practice. This way, this provides more transparency for their members to know exactly where the money that they're contributing into their HOA goes. We've seen, this actually came from a constituent where we've seen in some communities large amounts of money missing, upwards of $1 million. And so with that, I would ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1149? Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move L001 and ask that it be displayed.
Mr. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, hold on.
Can I start talking?
She's learning the ropes.
Displayed them before us.
The amendment is properly displayed and before us. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment was discussed during the committee hearing, and what we were talking about were small, voluntary, generally small, but the whole idea was voluntary, that came before the 1992 requirements, that they would not have to send out their budgets, because some of these small HOAs, and I know I'm in one, that it's voluntary. It's $25 a year, and not everybody pays it. So the whole budget may just be a matter of a few $100s or several $100s. And copying and sending out those budgets might use up the entire budget. So we thought that this amendment would actually excuse the voluntary HOAs that generally predate 1992. It was agreed to by everybody there, and I'm sure the sponsor will come up in a minute and say that it's okay. The other difference that you'll see on line 8 is we had some discussion about whether the budgets needed to be printed off and mailed or if they could be posted. And if you read the amendment, you'll see that the budget can be posted on the website, but the notification for the hearing, for the meeting, for the HOA meeting, would have to be done however their bylaws require it to be. And with that, I ask for an aye vote on L001.
Representative Milton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Representative Rankin, I want to thank you for bringing this amendment. This is a very friendly amendment. This does streamline and make sure that when we're reporting the budgets, that they can be posted online to avoid any extra additional costs to the HOAs. And also, it exempts out the voluntary HOAs. Because the voluntary ones, the members volunteer to contribute to, we didn't feel a need to require that those HOAs report their budget. And so with that, members, I would support this as a friendly amendment and ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L001 to the to House Bill 1149. Shouldn't we vote on it? Yeah. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is passed. To the bill. Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And with that, you might notice that the bill did come out of local government unanimously because we did agree to work on this amendment. And with that, I will be an aye vote on the bill.
Representative Milton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And with that amendment, this is a much stronger bill, and it's a better bill for the 300,000 units that currently are not required to have board budgets reported out to them. This makes this, or brings this statute really into the 21st century. Members, I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1149 as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1149 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 161163.
House Bill 1163, Representative Rankin, also Senator Grantham, concerning appropriations from the Noxious Weed Management Fund.
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move House Bill 1163. There is no committee report.
Okay. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Noxious Weed Grant Management Fund allows the department to give grants to counties, municipalities to control noxious weeds. It's $247,000 roughly. And the way the appropriation reads, the grants must be spent by the end of the year, that is end of June. Obviously, noxious weeds keep growing right after June. They pay no attention whatsoever to the appropriation cycle of the state government. So what this bill does is called rollover authority. It simply allows the department and the grant recipients to spend that money going into the next fiscal year.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1163. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1163 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1231 until the end of the second reading calendar.
Question before us is laying over House Bill 1231 until the end of the second reading calendar. Are there any objections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. No. What? The bill is laid over. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of 1232.
House Bill 1232, Representative Kraft Tharp, all Senator Baumgartner, concerning continuation of the authority of the Executive Director of the Department of Revenue to issue written responses upon the request of a taxpayer.
Representative Kraft Tharp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is no committee report.
I move.
So can I'm going to go straight to the bill. So I move. No, I know. So I move House Bill 16-1232.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So House Bill 16-1232 continues the authority of the Director to issue private letter rulings and general information letters until September 1st, 2023. It requires the Department to track the number of FTE hours dedicated to issuing the letters. No additional resources will be required to complete this tracking. I ask for your support.
Is there further discussion? Representative Wist. Representative Wist.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our members, our tax system works best when we have predictability and transparency, and that's exactly what this bill does. It provides those entities that are affected by taxation regulation to get advice in the form of a guidance or ruling. This is helpful to them in terms of evaluating what their tax liability is. This is a good bill for our business community, and I urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Representative Norberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this is a good bill, and I want to thank Representative Kraft Tharp for bringing it, especially in an environment right now where tax law is changing, regulations are changing. This is important now more than ever that the Department of Revenue be equipped to answer liability questions from taxpayers. Great bill. Please vote yes.
Further discussion on House Bill 1232? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1232. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1232 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of Senate Bill 008.
Senate Bill 8 by Senator Crowder, also Representative Vigil, concerning the use of an off-highway vehicle to cross state highways within the jurisdiction of a municipality.
To the bill. Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 008. There is no committee report.
Is there further to the bill? Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 008?
Madam.
Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 008 is a permissive bill. It's good for rural Colorado. It's good for those communities that rely heavily on tourism. What this does, it's a permissive bill that gives people who own ATVs permission to cross the streets. There was an amendment, there was a compromise that went into the bill that said that they could have to work with the Department of Transportation with their division office, and it was unanimously supported in the Ag Committee, and I've got letters of approval from cities in rural Colorado, one from Alamosa. I had people from town of South Fork and Mineral County come up and support it, and it's a good bill for rural Colorado and for the tourism industry in Colorado, so I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Representative Vigil. Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 008? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 008. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 008 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to proceed out of order for the immediate consideration of House Bill 1231.
Oh, seeing no objection, the motion passes. Okay, hold on. What's the order?
1231.
Mr. Kohler, please read the title of 1231.
House Bill 1231 by Representative Lebsaw, calls Senator Carroll, concerning the limited use of automated vehicle identification systems designed to detect disobedience to a traffic signal.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1231 and ask for a yes vote. Madam Chair,
Representative Lebsack.
I do have one clarifying amendment that I'd like the House to consider. I move L005.
The amendment is properly before us. Please proceed. Oh, not yet. It's not properly before us yet. There it is. Yeah. The amendment is now properly before us. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this amendment clarifies that with or without a driveway, there still is an arterial road definition. And so it simply just states the fact that a driveway directly accesses a road does not by itself prevent the road from being an arterial road. We have arterial road defined in the bill. Means a major roadway intended primarily to serve through traffic where access is carefully controlled. We just want to make sure that we're not changing the definition of an arterial road with this amendment.
Is there further discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L005. To all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment passes. Representative Lebsack. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a good bill. Members, over the last couple years, we've passed two real good red light camera bills. The first bill was an outright ban. I was a co-sponsor of that bill. The second bill that we passed last year was a vote of the people. It asked the people of each jurisdiction to vote whether or not to accept red light cameras. That was a great bill as well. This bill is a good bill. This bill recognizes that current law states that every single signalized traffic light in Colorado can have a red light camera. This bill puts limits on that and says, we believe that there should be limits on where red light cameras should be. It's not a touchdown. It's not what we want. It's not the outright ban that many of us want. But this is a small step in the right direction that says we're going to put reasonable parameters on red light cameras. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Priola.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Members, I read this bill the other day, and I'll draw you to the summary and the fiscal note. Under this bill, red light cameras may only be used within school zones, many of those, a construction zone or repair zone, many of those, and here's the important part, or on a major roadway intended to serve through traffic. Wow, that's pretty narrow, not. Basically, as the way I read this bill precludes red light cameras from probably dirt roads. I think that's what this bill actually does. So then it requires the revenue solely be used for traffic safety improvements, which is pretty broad. So basically, the revenue from red light cameras can be used on more red light cameras and more enforcement and more law enforcement. So honestly, unless we think there's a problem with red light cameras on dirt roads, I don't see a reason to vote for this bill.
Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I rise in support of House Bill 1231. In the past, I have been one of the members that has supported the ban on red light cameras. And I do agree that this doesn't go as far as I would like it to go, but this moves the needle. This bill moves the needle. It may not be a touchdown, but it's a first down. It moves us in the right direction of getting red light cameras off of the streets and off of traffic lights. And it does go to the purpose and the intent of removing these as so-called safety devices, which they aren't. Members, I know that this isn't necessarily everything you want, but this is a good bill. This is a balanced bill. Members, this moves the needle, and this moves us closer to civil liberties and making sure that these red light cameras aren't just arbitrarily thrown up on our streets and taxing our citizens. Members, I ask for an aye vote on this bill.
Madam Assistant Minority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple of questions reading this bill over the weekend. Why you would say limit it to red light cameras in construction zones? Because construction zones use red light cameras maybe 20% of the time. The vast majority of traffic control in construction zones is handled by traffic control companies with flaggers and uniformed police officers. So that seems to be, I'm not sure what that's a nod to, but it seems to be kind of a do-nothing addition to this bill, and I'm just curious why it's in there.
Representative Humphrey or Representative Lovesack.
I can speak to the construction zone piece. And so, members, like I stated before, we passed in a bipartisan fashion 2 bills. One bill that was an outright ban. The other bill was a vote of the people. This is a bill that does not have everything in it that we'd like to see, but it's a good, solid first down. It might not be a touchdown. It's not the outright ban. But I believe that this moves in the right direction, and most reasonable folks believe that there should be some reasonable parameters on red light cameras, and that's what this bill does. It will only allow red light cameras on arterial roads, roads in a school zone, and roads that have construction on them.
Thank you, Madam Assistant Minority Leader.
It's a long one. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, that raises another question. If these are going to be allowed here, then will cities and counties that have projects in their municipalities, will they then require that red light cameras be installed rather than using subcontractors with flaggers and traffic control? I mean, is this just a way for them to backdoor revenue collection in a construction zone?
Representative Humphrey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have some serious questions about the bill for the bill sponsor. I think that you know what we're doing here is extremely limited. Saying what fund the money has to go to, you know, it's still filling that that slot on the budget for a municipality, and allows them to afford a lot more in the rest of their budget. So I don't really see that makes a huge difference. And as far as where the cameras are being allowed, I appreciated Representative Priola's humor, saying that it basically prohibited use on dirt roads. I thought that was nice. My concern is that what we're doing here is, to go back to the football analogies, that it's more of, I think someone referred to it as a fumbled lateral. I'm not naming names. I'm just saying. And some folks have said, hey, look, this is a matter of local concern. We should just be leaving this alone. But if you look in statute, it starts off a little preamble there, and it refers to it right off the bat as a matter of statewide concern. So from my point of view, unless this is heavily amended and has some teeth in it, I can't see supporting it. Thank you.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1231? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1231. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1231 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1185.
House Bill 1185 by Representative Moreno, also Senator Ulibarri, concerning the issuance of a new birth certificate with a gender designation that differs from the gender designated on the person's original birth certificate.
Just a minute. Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1185 and the Health, Insurance, and Environment Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, in committee, we simply added an amendment that says that the statement that's required from the medical or mental health professional will be in a form or format designated by the state registrar. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on the committee, Health Insurance and Environment Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Committee report passes. To Representative Moreno, to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, if House Bill 1185 looks familiar to you, it's because it should. It's because it's largely the same bill that was introduced last year. And the reason I am introducing it again is because this conversation, this bill, is too important to the transgender community to give up. This bill will allow a person's official government documents, their birth certificate, to actually reflect who they are in their hearts and in their mind. The government owes that to them. The one noticeable change that you'll see in this bill from last year's bill is that we are no longer requiring the sealing of the original birth certificate. There were objections raised last year about erasing history, about, we want to allow people to be who they are, but we cannot erase history, and I understand that. That's why we're not asking for the birth of a person's original birth certificate to be sealed this time. So what you have in front of you today, members, is a bill that will allow people to have their official government documents to reflect who they truly are. A bill that will bring our process for changing a birth certificate in line with the process for a Social Security card, with the process for changing the gender marker on a passport. The federal government has already figured this out, and the state of Colorado should follow. And with that, I ask for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1185? Representative Tyler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in strong support of this bill. I like to take a scientific perspective on things, and I think that's important to do in this case. I want to read to you about a book. This is from Amazon, a review of a book that I read a couple months ago. You know, we can't really read much of anything in session, but this book had me in tears over and over again. The name of the book is Becoming Nicole. And I want to read parts of this review. Why is it such a big deal to everyone what somebody has in their pants? It's an excellent question posed by an unusually astute transgender girl. I think she made that statement about the age of 7. The subject of Becoming Nicole. Nicole and her identical twin brother, Jonas, her mom, Kelly, her dad, Wayne, are your typical middle-class American family. They live next door to you. They're shuttling from work to Cub Scouts to softball practice. They're also coming to terms, this family, that one of their own has gender dysphoria, a medical condition, a biological condition, whereby a person does not identify with the sex they were assigned at birth. So Wayne and Kelly Maines discovered they don't have 2 sons at all, but a son and a daughter. This is a particularly hard pill for Republican Air Force veteran Wayne to swallow in his journey from denial to accepting and championing his daughter. Is one of the more powerful and moving side narratives in a book chock full of them. Becoming Nicole is an important book that imparts important lessons, and the ones that resonate most are be true to yourself, live an authentic life, and exercise compassion. Nicole, her brother, and all their friends did not see this as a really big issue. No big deal. Well before there was any public acknowledgement, well before Nicole made other people publicly aware of her belief, all their friends kind of knew and thought it was no big deal. You might ask, how does this happen that identical twins can be transgender and one of them can be transgender? And the book also goes into that in some depth. And that gender is formed in the fetus and how it becomes not a question of genetics, but epigenetics. By the end, you come away with a working knowledge of how gender develops in individuals, the different types of genders, how genetics and epigenetics play a role, social and political changes that affect how transgender individuals are viewed, and an intimate look at not only a transgender child and how she felt growing up, but how it affected the family, how it affected this particular person, which I think is true for any transgender person. You know, as growing up a guy and believing I was a guy, I don't get it, you know? I played with trucks, I ran around and did stuff. But just imagine if your biology, if your epigenetic heritage put you in a situation where you were a guy, as this young girl was born, and you weren't a guy in any of who you were and any of what you wanted to do. This is not a question about social acceptance. This is a question of biology. There's a reality here, and I really ask you to support this bill. And I also ask you to have a look at that book if you have questions, Becoming Nicole. It's heartwarming and heartbreaking, and I hope we can help solve a little bit of that problem that these kids feel with what we do here today. Vote yes on this bill. Thank you.
Representative McCann.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We heard this bill in Health Insurance and Environment Committee. The thing that struck me the most is the courage that it took for the individuals who came and testified who are transgender. And you could see the concern and pain in their faces as they spoke about the lifestyle that they had and the kinds of experiences they have had in becoming transgender as they realize this through their lives. I can't imagine something more difficult than to come up and talk about that extremely personal and emotional issue in front of strangers, in front of a committee, and to be able to address the committee and tell us what it was like, what it is like, and the challenges that they face. So I urge a support for this bill. I just want to point out that birth certificates are required to get a job or to enroll in school, sometimes just to get housing. But even if birth certificates are not required, other identity documents that take their name and gender from a birth certificate, such as a driver's license, are often required. And it makes it extremely difficult for a transgender person to obtain employment, and the statistics bear out that many transgender folks are unable to find employment. So I would urge a yes vote on this bill. I think it will help a segment of our population that truly does suffer discrimination in our current society. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion on House Bill 1185? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1185. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1185 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 161005.
House Bill 1005 by Representatives Esgar and Danielson, also Senator Merrifield, concerning the use of rain barrels to collect precipitation from a residential rooftop for non-potable outdoor uses.
You want to move it? Representative Esgar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 10005 and the Agriculture Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the committee, we amended the original bill with L001 that simply put in a legislative declaration stating that this is, in fact, in accordance with the priority system established in Article 92, and that nothing in this article is intended to infringe upon or impair the doctrine of prior appropriation.
Representative Becker. John Becker.
One of the Beckers. Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, as we heard this in Ag, one of the things was, is there an appropriate path? Is there a path for us or an injured party to go through in order to curtail the use of rain barrels? That's what we were looking at. And what was that done? And we couldn't get it done in committee. We argued back and forth a little bit on how that looked and what went on. And with the work with several groups in going through, we kind of figured out there is a way that's already in statute that we can use that looks at rain barrels and gives injured parties a way to go through and claim their injury. On top of that, one of the things that we were looking at is making sure that we say that a rain barrel is not a water right. So we came up with an amendment, and I move L011 and ask that it be displayed. Wow, either my eyes are bad or...
Amendment L011 is properly displayed and before us. Representative John Becker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, what this is doing is this is adding into the legislative declaration the wording that rain barrel is not a water right. This also adds in the curtailment language as we go through so that we have a path for injured parties. I think that this is a responsible way for us to look at rain barrels, and it also protects our prior appropriation system as we move forward and making sure that injured parties have a path to move forward in curtailing rain bills in the state of Colorado. I'd ask for an aye vote.
Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say thank you to Representative Becker for working with us to bring this amendment. It's a friendly amendment, helps the bill. Please vote yes.
Thank you. Representative Corum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was in opposition of this bill in committee. It's been something we've talked about a long time because I felt that it was unclear of how you would handle if you were injured. With this amendment, I can go from a nay to a yay. So please support this.
Representative Singh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I urge a no vote on this amendment. We heard in committee that there is no injury from rain barrels. In fact, the water coming off, the watershed coming off a residential development is the same with rain barrels as without rain barrels. This is not needed.
Thank you. Representative John Becker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, we did have testimony in committee that said that there would be no injury or de minimis injury as we move forward. This doesn't affect that. This just says that if there's something that was missed in that model as we move forward, that the language that we use inside of statute is the curtailment language in order to help those injured parties. That's all this is.
Further discussion, Representative Singh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, you know, we have some of the same instances going on right now in some communities in my district where wells have been curtailed and basements are flooding. So obviously, the model we're using now doesn't work. So I urge a no vote.
Is there further discussion on this amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L011. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The amendment passes. To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Should we move this now? One moment. Yeah. Should we move the amendment now? Oh, it's great.
To the Ag Report.
We need to pass. Oh, I move the passage of the.
Support for the Ag Report.
I request your support for the Ag Committee report. I move it.
So all those in favor say aye for the Ag Report.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it to the bill.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, you have before you the opportunity to take a step towards encouraging some water conservation amongst our urban and suburban water users. The people out there in our communities, they want this. They want the ability to use a rain barrel, to collect a little water, to water their tomato plants. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. And I can tell you that, I grew up on a farm here in northern Colorado, and as a farmer's daughter, I can tell you that it just makes good Colorado common sense. The more we save, even if it's a little bit at a time here in the cities, the more water there is for ag. We've improved the bill, as you could see this morning, and so hopefully we can have your support. Please vote yes as amended, House Bill 1005, and free the rain barrels.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I too urge an aye vote on this bill. There was major support last year. We have garnered even more support this year. I think you all have probably heard from your constituents that they don't understand why they can't collect water off their roofs right now to put into their garden as it is. This is a this is a bill that puts everything together, and it helps with conservation, but it just is a simple bill that makes sure that that Colorado finally aligns with the rest of the United States. So I ask a yes vote on that and move L012 and ask that it be displayed.
Do you understand it? L012 is properly before us and displayed. To the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So
Representative
this was an amendment that we realized after the committee meeting that we should add a way to report, just in case somebody believes that they may have been injured. This is a reporting back to the agriculture committees in the House and in the Senate if the state engineer has found that there's any report of injury.
Is there further discussion on Amendment L012? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L012. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. To the bill, Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I ask for your support for House Bill 10005 as amended.
Is there further discussion? Representative John Becker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, there's been a lot of hard work that's gone into this bill and a lot of back and forth. And I know that the sponsors have been working on this for many, many months. And I was privileged enough to only work on it for a week. So thank you for that. But with the amendments that we have on, we now have a path for injured parties. We have a bill that gets us rain barrels in the state of Colorado and brings forward that conservation. So I thank the sponsors for bringing it forward, and I'll be in a yes vote.
Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I rise in support of the bill. I've been curious and followed this closely because in my district, a lot of my rural folks really would like to have a rain barrel. And you might ask, why don't they just do that? Have they already? But it turns out that a lot of my folks are actual purists when it comes to water law. And they really believe in following the law to the letter because they're irrigators and water users. And so they really did not go out and get rain barrels because they weren't sure that they were consistent with prior appropriation and water law. So I've gotten a lot of emails that ask for this bill. Even though it may seem a trivial issue, it's not to somebody who is very cognizant of Colorado water law. And I would not have voted for it without the amendments, but the Colorado River District has informed me that with the amendments, their board supports the bill. So I urge a yes vote.
Representative Quorum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, as you know, I've been one of the opponents of this bill for a couple of years because I didn't feel the protections were there. But I want to thank the bill sponsors for going above and beyond and really getting us what I consider a good bill for all of Colorado, and ask for a yes vote.
Is there further discussion? Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, as we traveled on our Senate Bill 115 hearings throughout the state of Colorado and all the bases in the state of Colorado, the rain barrel bill came up all the time. Just why won't you guys allow rain barrels? Because, you know, we had talked just to regular, ordinary people who care about water, care about their backyards, care about conservation, and this is really a good bill for those folks that really need that rain barrel water so they can work their backyards. And, you know, with the safeguards we put into the bill, I think it's a great bill. Please support this bill.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Representative Danielson. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to commend all of the hard work that Representative Escar, Representative Danielson, and Representative Jay Becker did to make sure that this bill goes forward. It's a good day for Colorado, good day for water conservation.
Representative Lundin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, I can be the poster child on this particular bill. I voted against it last year, but given the hard work that's gone into this, the thoughtfulness that's gone into this, I will in fact be a yes vote. You know, I grew up here in Western America, and I was trained from a young child to say this phrase. You can all say it with me if you want. That whiskey is for drinking and water is for fighting over. So the protection of water is important, and I think we've achieved that with this bill.
Representative Corum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say, maybe we didn't make it clear as to why I am total support of this. Prior appropriations. That's been around since before Colorado was a state. It is a water right. And what you have done with this, you have protected that water right. Prior appropriations. Thank you.
Representative Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we will join all of the other states if we pass this bill. All of the other prior appropriation states, and of those states, all the headwater states that allow rain barrel usage. This is for ag. This is for the folks in my district who have come to me and demanded that we get this thing done so they can utilize this in their own backyards. And I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and let's pass this bill.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I hope that you've understood what happened here today. We brought this bill forward last year, and it was wildly popular. But we also heard that there were some concerns. And we could have just ran the same exact bill as we did last year and keep trying to push forward with that one. I just hope you understand the amount of work and time that has gone into making sure that we bring everybody on board and we have a bill that people can agree with and that can actually pass this year. So we appreciate you listening and urge an aye vote.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, and thank you, ladies. I hope that's all right if I call you ladies. You did work with all of the stakeholders, and I appreciate that. We've come a long ways as far, you know, property rights are important. The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution is important. And water rights are a property right, and thank you. I think that we've come a long ways on this bill.
Thank you. Is there further discussion on House Bill 16-1005 as amended? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1005 as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the bill passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great job up there. I move the committee rise and report.
The committee shall rise and report. Gavel. Gavel.
Gavel.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Kohler, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, Committee of the Whole begs leave reports under consideration following attached bills being second reading. The House makes following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1005 amended, 1149 amended, 1163, 1168, 1185 amended, 1231 amended, 1232, 1236 amended. Passed on second reading in order and gross placed on counter for third and final passage. Senate Bills 866 passed on second reading in order revised placed on counter for third and final passage. House Bill 1100 laid over until March 3rd, retains place on the calendar. House Bill 1150 laid over until June 1st.
Representative Arndt. You have heard the motion, and there are no amendments. The question before the House is the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Kohler, please open the machine, and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes, no noes, and no excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Vigil.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Agricultural, Natural Resources, and Livestock Committee, we have a meeting today at 1:30, and we have a couple of bills up today, and it's House Bill 1173 by Mitch Bush and 1255, Representative Corman and myself. We'll be reading at room 107 at 1:30, so we're going to gavel in at 1:30. Please be on time. We'll see you this afternoon.
Representative Ransom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My homeschool group was sitting up on the bench. It looks like they've stepped out, but I just want to welcome them one more time. The Faith Homeschool Group from Centennial did visit us this morning. They were paying attention. They had fun watching us debate all of our bills this morning, and I just want to thank them for being here.
Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee, we do have a full agenda today. We will be hearing Senate Bill 107, House Bill 1190, House Bill 1093, House Bill 1233, House Bill 1146, and House Bill 1035. So we'll see you at 1:30 in room 271. Thank you.
Further announcements and introductions. Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m.
The motion is to stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m. And members, we will meet tomorrow morning, but we will move through our calendar as quickly as possible so you can all get out of here to go to your caucuses. So just remember that. Seeing no objection to the motion, the House is in recess.